The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning, Siouxland, and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. This show is all about your mental wellness and how you can help yourself navigate the daily highway of life. We hope to educate and inform you of resources available in our community to help improve our mental wellness environment. Our show is brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency serving the Siouxland community. Our topic today is mental wellness in Siouxland. Joining me is my co-host, Brenda Geisinger, Chief Operating Officer of Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning.
So what's happening in the wide world of mental wellness in Siouxland?
Well, this month is the Mental Health Awareness Month, and we have Amy Block from Catholic Charities and Jennifer Jackson from Heartland Counseling in South Sioux. And because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, it's all working together to help the community just improve themselves. So we invited them to just join our show and talk about the great things we all do in Siouxland.
Well, we hope to find out more today from our guests, two all-stars in the mental health arena in Siouxland, Amy Block and Jennifer Jackson. These ladies are wonderful. We're going to learn more about what they do during our show today. So before we go on with the show, it's spring. Spring's coming. Now, last week we talked about, let's see if you can find out there the first person driving around in the convertible with their windows up, okay? If you achieve that task, here's your task for this week. Spring. What's better than the smell of fresh cut grass? So somewhere during the week, take a whiff. And I'll gotta tell you, it's good. It just makes you feel good. So with that, happy spring. We got some showers finally, and let's get on with our topic, Brenda.
So talking about mental health and the wellness of Siouxland, we have other agencies, and it's all about what will work for you and getting the help that you need. So I'll turn it over to Amy, and she can talk about Catholic Charities and the great work that they are doing.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Catholic Charities has been in our community for over 75 years, and I've been lucky enough to have been there for about the last 8 years or so. And we primarily provide mental health services to the community, to people of all faiths, backgrounds, really anyone who's in need of services. About 40% of our clients are children. We certainly work with anyone who comes in, but we also do a lot of work with couples, really any issues that might bring you in, like Boys and Girls Home and Heartland. We offer a sliding fee scale, and we don't turn anyone away due to ability or inability to pay. So we want you to come in if you're struggling with something or if you have a question. We also provide any type of educational information for whether it's businesses or schools or community agencies or partners. This summer, we're going to do some work with Boys and Girls Club with some of their kids, providing them some support and education services. We do some work with the schools as well. We're in some of our schools here in Sioux City, and we serve about 24 counties in northwest Iowa. We've got some satellite offices out there working with rural schools, and we are also really blessed to work with Dr. Nezrin Abuada here in Sioux City as our I have not had my coffee yet this morning. That's part of my mental wellness. So in addition to the cut grass, I also am going to be focused on coffee. But no, we're lucky enough to work with her. That's right. So we work with her as well.
Oh, wonderful. I got to tell you, I know you have a large area that you cover. There are 99 counties in the state of Iowa. How many do you cover?
We have 24, and then we also, if individuals are, in whether it's Nebraska or South Dakota, but primarily it's really Iowa. We partner with Jennifer, in Heartland Counseling. We don't provide substance abuse counseling; it's just mental health, but it's primarily Iowa.
I'm Art Silva, along with Brenda Geisinger and our guest Jennifer Jackson from Heartland Counseling and Amy Block from Catholic Charities, and we're discussing mental wellness in Siouxland. Jennifer, tell us what's going on at Heartland Counseling.
Well, thanks for having me. So I'm going to say ditto with what Amy said because we provide a lot of the same things that she does. But on the Nebraska side, we also provide some other services I'd like to talk about. So we provide a crisis response team. So anybody that's ever suicidal can call us. We work very closely with the schools, with law enforcement, and actually even with medical facilities. They can call us anytime and we would respond and do an assessment. We also do wraparound services called community support, recovery support, and peer support. And what that is for individuals that are really struggling with their mental health. And we provide a lot of support to them. So we may take them to the grocery store, we may take them to their doctor's appointments, whatever we can do to help them in their home. It could even be learning budgeting skills, basic living skills. And then the other thing I want to share is we have a day program called the Life Center. And that is for anybody, just like you and I, that is struggling with their mental health or their substance use. Maybe they are in early recovery and they just need that extra support. They can come there. We're open Monday through Saturday, 9:30 to 3:30. We pick people up. We take them home. They can eat breakfast there, lunch there. They can even do their laundry there. And again, it's just a safe place for individuals to be able to share if they're struggling. So
Is that like a version of adult daycare?
Not really, because
Okay.
again, it's not for anybody that you don't have to have a developmental disability. It's for people just like you and I. Maybe we have depression, maybe we lost our job,
Great.
and we just need a safe place to go during the day to get out of the house, and
Get
so
out of
you're
that
not isolated.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
that's so good. The isolationism.
Yes.
I think it's underplayed in this community. There's a lot of people that are isolated and lonely.
Yes.
Jennifer, that's a great idea to
That
bring together.
and that program has been around for, I think 14 years. It's kind of a little hidden gem, and it's doubled in size since COVID.
Wow.
So that is one thing that people have really, reached out and just said, I need help. So
Well, in this business, you tend to find things that we know it's there, but they tend to grow in terms of importance. And then we shift our resources to be able to handle those types of issues. That's a wonderful program. And like you said, a gem. And there's a lot of gems out there, folks,
Yes.
that you can go and call services. Nobody owns the mental health market. We need to share all of our expertise because let's make this a good mental health community. We talk about the quality of life a lot. We have services here. There's no reason you can't be out there with a cloud over. You have to be out there with a cloud over your head. No reason. But you have to step up and say, I don't want to do that. This is how I want to live. And there's a lot of help out there if I want it. So today's show is all about access to health, mental wellness help in Siouxland. You can get it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and co-host, Brenda Geisinger. I'm going to talk about residential and family services.
So family services is very similar to Catholic Charities and Heartland Counseling, that we do outpatient therapy. And in addition to that, we also have the Iowa Domestic Awareness Program. We have 3 play therapists for offering play therapy for children. And then we also work with Dr. Dean and Associates for our psychiatrist. And then in addition to family services, we also have our inpatient program for children ages 6 to 18. And the kids live with us who are struggling with mental health. And we provide 24-hour care. We do their schooling and get them back on track and add some stability to the family. Doing group therapy, family therapy, individual family therapy for those folks. And then we also have Opportunity School, where kids come just for the school day.
Well, one common denominator I've heard in all three of you is the serving children. Amy said she has 40% of what they do is around children. Brenda, I know that you work a lot with families, as does Jennifer. So when we talk about, usually only hear this at election year, we're going to strengthen families. Well, this is strengthened family, folks. Every day, trying to hold families together, especially families that want to be together and are looking for help and they're struggling. So I just can't compliment these ladies more. And if you look at it, they all have longevity in their job. So this has to be a passion for what you're doing. I know it's a very tough job, and I always ask Brenda, what do you do to get yourself up? What do you do when your therapist having that tough day with that tough case? You know, it's a tough business. So we're coming up on our break right now. So you continue your morning chill. We'll be right back with more When Things Aren't Going Well right here on 1360 AM, 94.9 FM, KSCJ.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and experts say now is a good time to reflect, especially following the stresses related to the pandemic.
Boys and Girls Home is offering free yoga all month. Just contact the Family Services Breathe Yoga Studio.
Yoga has been proven to reduce stress. We bring in awareness to your surroundings and bring a sense of calmness and peace to yourself.
Classes are expected to fill quickly, so don't delay.
Call 293-4900 and ask for the Breathe Yoga.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well. Let's continue our discussions on mental wellness in Siouxland with Brenda and our guests, Jennifer Jackson and Amy Block. Let's get back to children. That was a common denominator among all three of you. Let's talk about children's programs and what you see as a need. And has this been impacted by COVID? There's a couple of questions. So, Amy, I'll throw you a softball.
Well, thanks. I mean, certainly we continue to see more and more kids, I think, entering all of our programs. And, you know, COVID certainly had a big piece of that, you know, families struggling and how that affects kids. Impact of social media has been significant over the past 10 years, you know, when you watch statistics and the impact of that. We were talking a little bit before the show about masks, you know, and what that did. But I think even more so with COVID, just the uncertainty day to day. You know, there's no predictability. There's no, you know, kids do best when they have structure and certainty, and there was none of that. There was none of that for adults, let alone for kids. So we're seeing that. We're seeing multi-generations of trauma, of poverty, all of those things right now. I think we're really just seeing coming to a head with kids. And, you know, I think some positives are the stigma around mental health is maybe getting a little bit better because we're talking about it more and more. And kids are talking about it more and more. They're wanting to know how to help their friends. And, you know, there's more and more campaigns out there. We're talking about it in schools. So I think there's a lot of hope around that as well.
You know, if we can get to kids talking to kids, the Musketeers this past year, they came out and one of their players talked about it because between 16 and 27, the brain's still developing. And that's where these are the children most affected. So we can get kids talking to kids. That would be great. All right. Anybody out there that wants to come on this show and bring kids and you want to talk about mental wellness, kids talking to kids, you have an open invite. You just give me a call at 293-4700 or drop me a note at Art Silva, silvera@bghome.net. We'll bring you on. This is how serious we are. Kids talking to kids because you guys get it. So let's share with us and together we'll help get this down the field. Jennifer, you're working with a lot of kids too, so you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, so we're currently working in 8 school districts, and I've had a couple more school districts reach out to ask if they could have a therapist in their school next year. But we are doing a lot of great things within the school districts, and like Amy said, I mean, huge increase in referrals. So much that we're hiring 5 more school-based therapists this year. It's really exploding. So one positive thing that we're doing this month in the South Sioux City School District is we're having these huge banners put up to make awareness of Mental Health Awareness Month. And we're going to leave Post-it notes there, and then all the kids can write positive messages to share. And it's just, we did this last year. It was very successful. We want to do it again this year. So we're pretty excited to get that campaign going. Yeah.
That's excellent. Brenda?
I think what they were talking about, Amy and Jennifer, it's very real. Kids are struggling, but people are noticing. And I think it's that everybody working together and energizing. The amount of depression for children has increased by 30 to 40% in the last year. So the referrals are up. And people are willing to say, I need help. And the kids are noticing that with each other. And they're not afraid to go to their mom and dad and say, hey, I need something. I need help. And so reaching out and us all working together has been phenomenal to see that energy. And hopefully we can kind of keep this going of everybody reaching out and working together.
It's more than looking at children and say, okay, my kid's okay. We need to watch all the children. And I think what you're doing in the schools are excellent. I think the teachers have been top shelf, and they recognize this need and finally getting, and Jennifer, you talked about getting counselors in the schools,
Right.
therapists in the school. It's so important to catch it at that age. And it can be done with just not isolating a child or putting them in seclusion. Let's work through this and a new way of looking at it to get the child producing again, get the child engaged again in the whole operation. So thank you for the work that you do on that. One thing that came across in listening to both of you, and Brenda also, because we got the whole state of Iowa with the residential treatment, I'm impressed with the area that you cover. Jennifer, you're heading out, and you said you got a 10,000 mile square area.
We do.
Wow.
Yeah. So tomorrow I'm actually headed to Valentine, Nebraska, and it's going to be a little bit of a jaunt, maybe 4.5, 5 hours, and then also I'm going to be meeting with the Cody Kilgore schools out there. That's Cherry County, for those of you that don't know, in western Nebraska. And then I will be meeting also with the police departments and sheriff's departments, just, again, to educate everybody on mental health, actually officer wellness. And LB 51 passed in the state of Nebraska, so every officer now has to have mental health training, substance abuse training, and officer wellness training.
Excellent.
So yeah, it should be a good day tomorrow. I'm glad the weather's nice, but yeah, 10,000 square miles, so it's kind of it's a lot of territory. So
I just put one and one together, and I just think about going out to Valentine, and in respect to your dad who's passed away, I know he'd be at the Sandhills.
Oh yes, he would. Yes,
I
he
know
would.
your
He'd
dad
be out
is
there with the
great golfer.
Yes, he would.
And I think of Valentine, I go, ooh, Sandhills.
Yes.
Well, safe travels to
Yes.
you, and thank you for
Thank you.
carrying that message. It's so important. As people can see, we're developing a village. You're in the schools, in the police departments, all in a positive way.
Yeah.
We need folks to get on this mental wellness deal. Help us. And if you don't really want to, you say, I'm at where I want to be. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Do it for the children. Do it for the kids. It's so important, especially our adolescents. We're going to put another group of kids out in the street that are just kind of like bouncing around, hopeless. The family unit has disintegrated to a degree. And so it's about looking after those who are falling into the cracks. And that just starts with us, the golden rule. And I said, when you deal with children, we rescue animals. We do a real good job at that. We got to look at our children. We really do. I mean that sincerely because we see it firsthand, and we know we can do better. So we got something we're dealing with the geography, and that's the expanding in Congress. Right now, the president just said he's going to put out money for the internet. How does that affect telehealth? Amy?
I think it would be great. We serve about 24 counties in Northwest Iowa. And, one of the, positives that came from COVID, I think for many mental health agencies, we rapidly had to switch from face-to-face to providing telehealth services. And we have a lot of people in rural areas, which also are at greater risk for mental health issues, for suicide, which also has significantly increased, unfortunately, in the last couple of years. It hit, in rural Iowa, it had already increased significantly prior to COVID. So it's one of the things that I think could really make a difference for people and mental wellness. It would provide opportunities for people to access it in areas where there are no mental health sites. Some areas and some of the small towns don't even have grocery stores. They might have little gas stations that have, milk or small things, but they don't even have those. So to be able to provide mental health services to individuals in remote areas, psychiatric services, which are difficult to get here in Sioux City, let alone in small rural areas in Iowa or Nebraska, would be so significant, I think. So we're really hopeful that will go through.
Jennifer?
Yes, I mean, I would say it's going to be amazing. Not only are we doing therapy through telehealth, but we're doing these other services. So even if we need to check in with somebody for community support, or again, our day rehab program, the Life Center, we actually have about 15 people that use telehealth every day to come into the Life Center. So it's not just for therapy, but like as Amy said, psychiatry too. It would be very positive.
It's great. Being able to expand the support network is fantastic. We're coming up pretty much to the close of our show, but I want to make sure that you get a chance to plug anything you want to plug in your agency. So, Amy, anything you want to give a shout to?
We have some free parenting classes coming up in June. When you talk about wellness, parenting, boy, that's a tough job, and we all can use some help and support. So we have those coming up. And also we do a suicide support group for anyone who's lost a loved one to suicide. We know that family members are at greater risk for that themselves. And so that's something that we also provide if anyone's interested.
And if they want to get a hold of you, Amy, how do they get a hold of Catholic Charities?
They can call 712-252-4547, or the easiest way is our website, which is cathchair.com.
Great. And Jennifer, what's happening in your world?
Yeah, so I want some great, exciting news. We had our groundbreaking last week for a new facility. We are literally out of space. I have several staff working at home. And so the new building will be at 1201 Arbor Drive in South Sioux City, right down off of Riverview Drive. And it's going to be double the size. It'll be 20,000 square foot. Great. Yes. And can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
All right. And this year's our 45th anniversary for Heartland.
45.
Yeah. And so we actually
That's aluminum, right?
Yeah. We're actually having a gala. We're having our first ever gala. It's going to be on July 22nd at the Marriott in South Sioux City. And so I invite you all to attend. It's going to be an exciting time. We're having a band, and I'm really excited. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll keep plugging that. It's out
Yes.
in July. We'll make sure we get that message out.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Brenda, I know you got free yoga.
We do at Family Services. We're offering free yoga to really support mental wellness and connecting with the body, and it has a component of meditation with it. And so if you're interested, just reach out to 293-4900 and ask for Mary. Or if you're just wanting to set up an appointment, you can use the same number, 293-4900.
Great. Well, we're coming up on the end of our show, and every week we end our show with a joke. Humor is medicine for the soul. So here we go. Why can't you hear a psychiatrist go to the bathroom? Because the P is silent. Thanks, Brenda, Jennifer, and Amy, and thanks also to our listening audience. Shout out, big thanks to Phil Clays, Executive Director of Rivercade, for kicking off the Rivercade season with the Barstool Open. It was a tournament for the ages, 100-plus participants. 4th Street was rocking. We're always looking to add to our family, so if you are looking for a career change or to start a new career, please call our HR manager at 293-4700 or hr@bgh.org. We have immediate openings for full and part-time positions. Extra dollars, gas is going up. When things aren't going, we'll be back next Saturday morning at 7 right here on 1360 AM, 94.9 FM, KSCJ, and our topic will be Together for Mental Health with our guest licensed therapist, Cindy Spicer. We'll discuss you and May Mental Health Awareness Month. Your homework this week is go out and have a good laugh. May the sun shine on you.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
For more information on the services provided by Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, see them online at boysandgirlshomeiowa.org, or you can call 712-293-4700 to get more information about family services, residential treatment, the Opportunity School, the Siouxland Family Center, and more. At Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, we change lives. We change lives. We change lives. We change